You could really tell Howie Roseman didn't have any of his fingerprints on the 2015 NFL Draft. I still remember when he thought that Curtis Marsh was going to be a star. Yeah, not good. A complete joke. I'd say that the first draft of the Chip Kelly / Ed Manovitz era was pretty much a success. There was that one head scratcher, but overall, I'd say 5 of the 6 selections were pretty solid. Of course, we won't be able to grade this draft until 3 years from now. Everything right now is just an opinion, but again, I've got no complaints. So I'm going to run down who the Eagles picked, give my quick thoughts, then provide a more detailed scouting report on each player a little bit later. Philly took wide receiver Nelson Agholor of USC with the 20th pick in the first round. Obviously, if you've seen my prior videos, you know that I'm really high on Agholor. He's a Jeremy Maclin clone. I think he's the surest thing in this draft. I love that they took him over Brashad Perriman in this spot. The Eagles traded up 5 spots in the second round so they could take cornerback / safety Eric Rowe of Utah. I'm not high on I'm not as high on Rowe as a lot of other people are, but he's versatile, he fills a need, and he did go later than expected. The Birds sent their 2 fifth-round picks in this draft to the Miami Dolphins and received a 6th-round pick from them in return for this trade. Texas linebacker Jordan Hicks was the Eagles' pick in the 3rd round. I hated this selection. This guy wasn't even in my top 20 inside linebacker rankings. It's one thing to like a player, but Hicks was a talent you could have taken a lot later, like 5th, 6th, or 7th round. There were a lot of teams that didn't even have him, like, draftable. I mean, he was, like, undrafted free agent on a lot of teams' boards. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you also have a plethora of guys at inside linebacker. When I saw this pick, I immediately thought that Michael Kendricks was going to be traded, but that didn't happen either. Chip said that they had a 2nd-round grade on him, and he was by far the highest-ranked player on their board at that point, so that's why they took him. But here's why the Hicks pick was really dumb, because a slew of offensive linemen went early in the 4th round, with Pittsburgh tackle TJ Clemmings, Florida State guard Trey Jackson, and Alabama guard Ari Kwanjo getting selected in a 3-pick span. You could have gotten one of these guys in the 3rd, and if you wanted Hicks, if you really wanted Hicks, you could have taken him in the 4th. This is the one thing that I complained about this draft. You know, the one head scratcher, the one thing, I just didn't like it. But, you know, I'm kind of nitpicking here because Hicks might be a good player. Who knows? You know, you never know with these guys. I will say this, however. The Eagles are very good at developing linemen, and while they didn't select one, they did pick up a bunch of undrafted free agents. Maybe one of them pans out. Guard always seems to be a position where you can, you know, develop an undrafted free agent. So there's that. The Birds instead traded their 4th-round pick and picked up a 3rd-rounder from the Detroit Lions next year. Philly drafted a pair of defensive backs in the 6th round, taking Kansas's Ja'Cory Shepherd and Kansas State's Randall Evans. This is one of those things where you take 2 players at one position and hope one of them pans out. Besides the Agholor pick, the Shepherd one was my favorite one of the draft. I thought getting him in the 6th round was a really big steal here. I like this kid a lot. And to close out the Eagles' 2015 draft, they took 6'9", 300-pound defensive lineman Brian Mahalik of Boston College. Besides Jordan Matthews, Bo Allen was the Eagles' best draft pick last year. He was a 7th rounder. Let's hope Mahalik follows suit and he contributes. All right, scouting reports. Let's start with Agholor. I think he's the best pure route runner in this draft, and, you know, the thing I love about him is his versatility. He can play inside, he can play outside, he's going to come in, learn all the positions and routes. He can also return punts, and maybe more than anything, his press conference really impressed me. Maintaining is a form of regression. Oh my goodness, this guy's a philosopher. Like every one of Chip's picks in this draft, Aguilar's got a good head on his shoulder. Great character. Character beats scheme, right? Yep. So that's what Chip always says. Culture beats scheme. Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately, well, they didn't follow that mantra. They took Randy Gregory in the 2nd round. You know, it's funny because I didn't see Randy Gregory taken in the 1st round. My immediate thought, I'm like, yeah, he's going to the Cowboys. I just knew it. You know, this Cowboys-Eagles thing, this is funny. This is like Duke versus UNLV in the early 90s. You know, you got the good boys of Duke, the good boys of Chip Kelly, and then you got all, you know, the longest yard inmates of the Dallas Cowboys. You got Greg Hardy, you got Randy Gregory, you got all these bad boys on the Cowboys. Yeah, it's this rivalry between the Cowboys and Eagles, it just keeps getting taken to new heights, you know. And yeah, it should be really fun to see how this plays out this season. Back to Aguilar. Hands are spectacular. You're not going to see him catch passes with his body. He does a fantastic job of setting up his defenders. He's quick, fast, and elusive. I think his potential is unlimited. And if you look at the measurables, he and Macklin are identical. Both 6 foot, 198 pounds. But the key difference here is that Aguilar is a lot cheaper. So there's that. On to Rowe of Utah. It sounds like he's going to play corner, but he's got the versatility to play safety as well. He started at safety for the Utes before making the transition to cornerback a year ago. He fits the scheme. He's a physical press corner with long arms. His versatility does allow him to play both tight ends and wideouts. When covering the number 3 receiver at Utah during its all-out blitz packages, he's shown patience and awareness. Here's some of the negatives I've noticed with Rowe. He really struggled with quickness in the open field. He fails to close that gap quickly. He's a long strider that doesn't have that quick twitch you want corners to have. We'll see how Rowe pans out. Again, I'm not as high on him as a lot of other people are, but let's hope I'm wrong. And, you know, I've been wrong before. It happens, and let's hope this is one of those instances. Here's really all you need to know about Hicks. Injuries, and more injuries. While he wasn't a popular pick and with many, including myself, thought he could have been taken a lot later. Coaches in the Big 12 seem to rave about him and think he can be a steal. We shall see. Hicks had a torn Achilles, hip flexor, and fractured foot while at Texas, robbing him of 2 years with the Longhorns. But as we've seen this offseason, injuries don't mean shit to Chip. So he's going to keep bringing these guys in. And this is another one of those instances. So we'll see how, you know, Hicks pans out. And hopefully, for our sake, he's a great one. Yeah, and just once again, hopefully Chip, you know, proves us wrong. When I covered the TCU-Kansas game this past season for Stats Inc., the company I work for, Ja'Cory Shepard really shined in that game. He's a former wideout who possesses plus ball skills. He doesn't panic with his back turned and plays through the hands of receivers on the back shoulder throw. His leaping ability, build, and movement actually remind me a little bit of former Eagles cornerback Sheldon Brown. He's still a work in progress, but I love this pick. He's the one to watch out for between he and Evans. As for Evans, like Shepard, he's a versatile player who can play both cornerback and safety. With this being said, it's going to be interesting to see who starts for the Eagles at safety alongside Malcolm Jenkins. Is it going to be Earl Wolf? Is it going to be Jerome Copeland? Is it going to be Jalen Watkins? Or is it going to be one of these 3 rookies from this draft? It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, you know, during training camp. Brian Mahalik, 97.6% in SPARQ score, was the 8th best of any player in the draft. That's insane for a 6'9", 300-pound defensive end. He has the size of Calais Campbell. Let's just hope he becomes half the player he is. So, there you go. That's my, 2015 NFL Draft recap for the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, fly, baby! And let's hope that maintaining is not going to be a form of regression for the Eagles this season. We had 10-6. Let's hope we take that next leap and go 11-5 next season. All right, with that being said, I'm out of here. I got to head off to work. So, yeah, that's why I did this video now. Didn't want to do it when I got home. So, that's it for today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @TheBitterBirds. I'm out. Later. Peace.